Okay. Yeah, good morning. All right, I'm going to be right back. What's cracking, Kermit? I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds, y'all. All right. How we feeling, baby? Everybody doing good? Camille, good morning. Kermit in the house. Good morning. Let's get it. Hope everybody's feeling good this morning. I know I am. Happy Tuesday to everybody. Because that's what today is, huh? Today's Tuesday. Jess is in the house. What up? Adam. Wagwan. Glad to see you this morning. Yeah. Good morning. Somebody checking in for entrepreneurship. If you don't leave a comment, I can't see you. Give me a share. We're going to get this party going in just a couple seconds. My man Mark Anthony is in the house, a.k.a. Mr. 800. Let them know we in the house, y'all. They don't know unless we tell them. You know what I'm saying? Let them know we up in this thing. Let's get it. Make sure you share this to a couple of the Facebook groups you in. Taisha in the house. What's up, girl? Okay, Shaquita. Okay. Breezy in the house. What's up, Breezy? Ally up in here. Let them know. All right, we're going to get this party started in less than 60 seconds. This one's going to be real special for a lot of my introverts. You know, a lot of people be sleeping on us. You know? And what's more, it ain't even that they sleeping on us. They just don't even understand. I just want to remind you this morning that you don't get rich off what you know. You get rich off what you learn. You know what I'm saying? Let them know, Chris. Crystal clear in the house. Let them know. You don't get rich off what you know. You get rich off what you learn. You know what I'm saying? You don't get rich off what you know. You get rich off what you learn. Huh? Ain't that deep? A lot of people didn't know that. But that's why we go so hard to study. Because personal development creates your personal reality. You know? Personal development creates your personality, then it creates your personal reality.
Greatness in you. Hello, this is Les Brown, and you're in the right
place at the right
time, because
let's get it, girl.
We're going to bring the millionaire out of you. Just hold on.
Please enter your... Thank you. Please announce yourself.
All right, we're about to get this party started.
All participants are muted. Entry and exit tones are off.
Okay, good morning, millionaires. Good morning, millionaires. I hope you're feeling good. My name's Haziq Ali. I'm a revenue acceleration coach. I'm somebody who's dedicated to helping you go further, faster, with less effort. And I'm here for you at least 5 days a week. A lot of times, way more than that. Shouts out to my man Earl the Pearl, Crystal Clear, Amma the CPA, the whole millionaire-minded gang. Mrs. Ali Goins is in the house. My man MJG. I'm real happy to see all these faces this morning, even though I can't see your faces. You know what I mean? And this morning, what we're talking about is this whole introvert thing. Because a lot of people don't understand how introverts help change the world. I'm an introvert. Many of you are introverts. But there's this common misconception that introverts are kind of like these loners who can't excel in social situations, right? Let alone thrive as an entrepreneur, let alone thrive as a salesperson. And since sales is life, what are we supposed to do with that? You know what I mean? How are we supposed to get out here and function if we supposedly the ones who are shy and standing in the corner and can't really affect change? But see, let me tell you something else about introverts. I want you to change your whole mindset. Whether you have introverts around you and you're like, man, them ain't the ones I need to be networking with. Or if you're an introvert, you see an introvert looking back at you in the mirror. Yeah, we might be socially exhausted after we bump into into yo loud behind. You know what I mean? Yeah, we might have a smaller circle of friends than some of you who never met a stranger. And you can just, like my man D Money, he never met a stranger. My man Earl the Pearl, he never met a stranger. You know what I mean? But check it out. Let me tell you something about us introverts. We are literally the most thoughtful. We are literally the most innovative. We are literally able to become listeners on a level that blows other people's mind. I'm kind of like you, Chris. I'm kind of like an ambivert as well. Like I'm kind of like a little bit of both because I listen really well, but then I have this flaw where I'll cut people off real quick because I already feel like I know where I'm going. I already know where they're going with it. And so I'll just jump in there. Let me take a sip while I let that little bit of truth sizzle in my spirit. What I am striving to do is become even a better listener. Because if you notice, y'all, what they do is they don't say you're a bad listener. They don't say that you're a horrible. They say you're a poor listener. You ever thought about that? Well, introverts a lot of times are exactly the ones who become rich because they're able to listen better. But why do people think extroverts are the best? Why do people think extroverts are the best salespeople? Why do they think extroverts are the best entrepreneurs? What is that? Right? Well, it's because the first impression of good salespeople is that they're always outspoken, that they're always really charismatic, that they have a ton of friends. And yeah, these things can be helpful, especially if you're doing some kind of home-based business, but they're not the only attributes that deem a closed sale. They're not the only attributes that make it so that you're a dynamic salesperson or a dynamic entrepreneur or a world changer or a servant leader who has impact and income as his legacy or her legacy. I'm here to tell you that being an introvert is actually a superpower. And I'm going to give you 7 reasons why you need to be proud if you're an introvert. I'm going to give you 7 reasons why you need more introverts in your circle. If you're ready for number 1, give me a number 1 and a share. Let's get it, Breezy. Let's get it, Breezy. Yeah. No judgment, but I feel you, Breezy. All right, here's number 1, y'all. If you're an introvert, you're observant. I don't know how many of you realize this already, but only 7% of your communication is the words you say. That is a very common statistic. We've all heard about this. There's a lot more going on than just the words people say. The other 93% of your communication, social scientists always talk about, is in your body language. It's in your tonality. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. It's who's saying it. Last night I was doing this training with my man Tyree, and I was breaking down to him that we spend all this time on how to, but we forget about the whole part about who is. You know what I mean? Because you can say something to me, you being millionaire minded, and then a wino could come up to me saying the same exact thing, and it ain't going to hit the same. You get what I mean? Because there are things I can observe about you that make you more credible. Does that make sense? It ain't so much the how to as it is the who is. You see what I'm saying? Check this out. Introverts are observant. Being observant and then being responsive to it is one of the most important skills of a high-level entrepreneur. You've got to be able to observe. Check it out. Introverts are the ones that are more observant of body language. Introverts are more observant of that change in tone of voice and all these other non-verbal cues, which are superpowers when it comes to being an entrepreneur. When you're in a meeting with a prospect, right? This can not only help you understand who they are, but it can help you understand who you need to be relating to and who you need to become in this moment. This can be the difference between winning the deal and completely blowing that bag. You get what I mean? Because when you're an introvert and you're paying attention, you're being observant, you can pivot as needed so that you can serve the client, so you can create a better buying experience, so you can get them past these self-limiting beliefs and these thoughts that they have in their head. Because you caught that statement that they made, and not just what they said, but what they didn't say, all of a sudden you're able to adapt. You're able to take responsibility. If you're ready for number 2, give me a number 2 and a share. Give me a number 2 and a share if you believe. If you believe, if that makes sense. If that makes sense, then give me a number 2 and a share. If you believe that you are more observant. Somebody give me introverts are more observant. Introverts are more observant. If you believe that. If you believe that, give me introverts are more observant. All right, here's number 2, y'all. You have a plan. Introverts have a plan. If you're an introvert, 8, 9 times out of 10, 7, 8, 9 times out of 10, right? If you're an introvert, you have a much better plan than people that are constantly. Let me tell you something about extroverts. Extroverts jump out the plane and build the parachute on the way down. But introverts typically have a really concrete plan with a really solid structure. And this can make all the difference. This can make all the difference. You get what I mean? Because it's the plan that provides the consistency and the security to these prospects, right? The prospects want to hear what's going to happen after I do. Yeah, you got my emotions all going, but what's going to happen next? You get what I'm saying? Yesterday, I was in a meeting with my business partner. You know, we were talking about something really exciting that we're about to roll out. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the word trust. Not trust as it relates to me trusting you and you trusting me, but I'm talking about trust as in your children should be trust fund babies, right? And so we were sitting there. I'm probably letting too much out the bag right now, but I'm really excited about it. I don't know how many of you understand that if you are middle class and higher, then you need to be dealing with trusts, right? So we were talking to our partners. You know, this is the same team that sold Kamala Harris her trust. You know, trusts are the difference between the Vanderbilts and why you don't hear about them anymore, and the Rockefellers who are still running for Congress and all this other stuff, right? It's trust. It makes you probate proof. It makes you that's a training for another day. But we were talking to, and then my partner asked something really interesting because he's an introvert like I am, right? He said, so what are the next steps that happen immediately after they get, right? Such a simple question, but so profound because he's already thinking about the plan for it all. He's already thinking about the plan for it all. Check it out. The plan is what provides the security to the prospect. You're only as good as your plan. Somebody give me that in the comments. You're only as good as your plan. If you fail to prepare, you're preparing to fail. You're only as good as your plan is. Now, I ain't just talking about a sales script. I'm saying the best entrepreneurs have a proven system that they use every single time to not just close a sale, but to deliver on what they sold. Y'all hear me? You're only as good as your plan is. If you believe that, then give me that in the comments, and then let's keep going. Let's keep going. You're only as good as your plan is. You're only as good as your plan is. Oh, I'm so happy, Queen. And we just now getting started, Ally. I still got a few more for you. You're only as good as your plan is. You're only as good as your plan is, Alan. Let them know. Good, Crystal. All right, here's number 3. Listening is your middle name. We talked about this a little bit, so I ain't going to beat a dead horse, right? But selling is about seeing as much as it is about talking. Selling is about listening even more than it is about talking. If you're going to get really good at being an entrepreneur, you're going to have to get to the point where you've got them doing most of the talking. You need to understand the pain points. You need to understand the values and the attitudes and the lifestyle of this person you're talking to. You need to understand their needs and their desires and their problems, right? And that's not going to happen if you don't even listen. You need to understand not just their personality type, but what makes them different from the last person who had the same personality type. You should be looking for little things that make them different from everybody else that's a Virgo, or everybody else that's a Scorpio or a Capricorn, or everybody else that's an extrovert, or everybody else that's an introvert. There's still unique things about them. They are just as unique as a snowflake. And if you don't listen, you're going to miss it. And the reason introverts are so dope, the third reason that introverts are so dope is that listening is their middle name. Come on, give it to me, y'all. Listening is my middle name. All my introverts, let me see that in the comments. Listening is my middle name. Now we get to be adaptable to the needs of their customers. Some of my mentees will hear me on a 3-way and be like, how did you know to go there? When they're smart, they ask these types of questions, right? They always ask me these. You don't judge a man by his answers. You judge a man or a woman by their questions. And I love a good question. And then sometimes they'll be like, well, they didn't even say anything about that. What made you take the conversation in that direction? Well, they didn't even say anything about that. That's not even what they asked. What made you answer it in that way? It's because when you're listening, when listening is your middle name, you're not just hearing what they said, you're hearing what they didn't say. This is a force multiplier. This is a competitive advantage. Here's number 4. You value deep relationships. You value deep relationships. If you're an introvert, you value deep relationships, not these wide nets of all these people that you barely know. Again, casting no judgment, throwing those stones, right? And my extrovert friends. But the thing about introverts is that we'll have fewer friends, but we'll have much deeper friends. Introverts are not that fond of having this list of acquaintances. Instead, they prefer to have really deep relationships with other people. Somebody give me, we value deep relationships. We value deep relationships. If you agree with that. When you're working deals with potential clients, with prospects, with leads, a genuine and deep relationship will take you much further than these surface level, shallow connections. Right? Somebody say we value deep relationships and then give me a share. We value deep relationships and then share this with an introvert. Help them boost their confidence. Help them boost their self-image. Help them understand that they got a place in this world that most people don't even see because we're more quiet. You know, this weekend I was at this event in Cleveland, and person after person came up to me who's on the calls or they're on the trainings, because y'all would be surprised how far and wide these trainings go, right? And so certain people would come up to me and they'd be like, man, you're so quiet. When I see you in the morning leaving the gym, you know, some of you know, like if you follow my Facebook stories, or if you follow my Instagram stories, I do this kind of like gyms from the gym every morning. And it's like, you're always so loud. But then when I meet you here in person, you're like so quiet. I'm an introvert, you know what I mean? But then I get on stage and something different clicks on, right? I can be more, but it's just the way that I'm made up. But the thing is, I'm not somebody who has a bunch of really wide circle of acquaintances. But if I have a vibe with you, then the relationship goes a little bit deeper. And this is powerful because entrepreneurship is about hearing the problems and the needs. It's about trust. It's about having a leg up because you're able to naturally create deeper, more powerful, more resonant relationships. And now you're hearing these problems that give you ideas that you wouldn't have got if it was all surface level. Is that making sense to somebody? Here's number 5. If you're an introvert, you're a realist. Extroverts have a tendency to lean into emotion during the sales process, right? You're a realist. Somebody give me that. Say, I'm a realist. I'm a realist. We don't get caught up so much in the emotion. Matter of fact, we're looking at it and being like, I see what he's doing there. I see what's going on here, right? Extroverts a lot of time lean into the emotion. And that's a powerful thing. Don't get me wrong. But sometimes when you're an extrovert, you may tend to lean into the emotion without necessarily having the information about the results to back up what you're saying. But introverts tend to lean into the reality of the outcome. They tend to lean into the reality of the product, which provides more concrete testimony, concrete disclaimers. You know, introverts are the ones that are more likely to say, now, you know, a lot of times with this product, it's not for you if you're blank. Check this out. If you're like this, then it, you know, this thing right here is not for you, right? We have more concrete disclaimers because we're kind of looking at it a different way. We're realist about it. What does this do? This minimizes refunds. This minimizes dissatisfied customers because we keep it 100, right? This means that not only can introverts begin to sell more because their reputation begins to spread, like, hey, you can trust her, you can trust him, but their percentage of repeat customers starts to be higher too because of the way that they sell. Is this making sense, y'all? Is this making sense? Is this making sense? I'm a realist. I'm a realist. Yeah. Introverts are realists. That's exactly right. Hey, let her know. Let her know, Mark Bates. We talking to Boogie this morning, ain't we? All right, here's number 6. Here's number 6. Introverts are more reserved. Introverts are more reserved. Extroverts tend to have these real big personalities. They're not afraid to present themselves, you know, in this larger than life way, while introverts are more conservative. Introverts are a little more quiet, right? And they've got all these new studies that have been coming out lately that show that the outgoing, charming salesperson stereotype is actually starting to turn, you know, some customers off. We're starting to get more cynical as humans. We're starting to be so bombarded with certain types of vibes that now we're starting to be more attracted to the reserved one. It's like that more bombastic approach. We're getting to this level in civilization where we're starting to put our guard up quicker. Can anybody relate to that? Can anybody tell we're becoming more cynical as a society? So more and more people are starting to put their guard up when they're approached by that type of entrepreneur. Here's what I want you to think about. This new shift in how people react can be an advantage for introverts. It can be an advantage. Your reserved personality might be exactly what helps you relate to your potential client because they feel like you're having a conversation instead of trying to push an agenda. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Huh? Somebody say, I am more reserved, and that's a superpower. I am more reserved, and that's a superpower. And then I got one more for you. Here's the 7th reason that introverts are way better than you think. You know, some of the most powerful people you've ever, like Steve Jobs was an introvert. Introverts recharge in solitude. Extroverts recharge around people. You know, my mentor, Mr. Les Brown, pure extrovert, right? He charges up around people. You know, this whole COVID quarantine thing, it was much harder on extroverts than anybody else, you know, but I'm going to tell you something about introverts. They have superpowers that a lot of people overlook. They have superpower that a lot of people overlook. Let's go, Crystal. Let's go. I am more reserved. I am more reserved, and that's a superpower. It is. It is. All right, here's the seventh one I got for you. Then we're going to go do our affirmations, y'all. If you're an introvert, you prefer not to talk at all. If you're an introvert, you prefer not to talk at all. Back in the day, extroverts were seen as these most qualified salespeople and entrepreneurs because of cold calling. Back in the day, before we had all of this artificial intelligence and fintech and big data, it was all about cold calling. And to engage in cold calling, you have to be energetic, right? You have to be, you have to have these refined social skills, right? Am I right? But check it out. Today, most decision makers are making it way harder to get them on the phone. So what do you have now? What that means is we're living in a society where we have to rely a lot more on nurturing the relationship, communicating through email. And we've got to do that more now than ever before. Matter of fact, if you haven't joined our email list, this is a good time for you to do so. Let me throw this up on the screen. Check it out. Boom. Get our free newsletter if you haven't yet. I guarantee you it's going to be the best thing to hit your inbox every single week. Go to wearemillionaireminded.com and throw your name and your email address in the box. And every week you're going to get this email, this really powerful email. Yo, if you love the emails that we send out every week, let me get some fire emojis in the comments. Let me get some fire emojis in the comments if you love our email newsletter every week. We always have a section dedicated to skill set, where we give you like a little jewel on how to work your business better. We always give you some mindset, because mindset is the key, man. Without the mindset, without the who is, the how to don't matter. You got to become before you'll do, before you'll have. You have to be. We're not human beings. We're humans becoming, right? We're humans becoming. You have to become before you'll do, before you'll have. So mindset, I can't say enough about it. And then it always has a section on heart set. Go there right now and throw your email and your name in the box. And if you're on the email list, make sure you check out last week's email. It was amazing. But check it out. Since we're now in this place where decision makers are making it harder to get them on a phone, we have to rely on email communication. This is where introverts kill it. I saw Ally put that in the comments earlier, that she's way bigger on email. She's way bigger on shooting them an email. Check this out, y'all. Crystal, you better check your junk mail. You better check your junk mail. It's in there. It's in there. Appreciate that, Kerman. Appreciate that. Sheena, check your junk mail. It's in there. It's in there. I promise you. Man, I wonder how many aren't getting the emails. Man, y'all better check them things. Our open rates are getting incredible. But those of you that are not getting it, reach out. Send me a DM or something so that I can help you with it. But George Bernard Shaw had an incredible quote that I love. He was like, the single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it's taking place. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it's taking place. Millionaires, this is where introverts excel. Even when they're not as social or talkative as extroverts, they excel in nurturing the relationship. Yeah, sign up again, man. Yeah. That's right, Ally. You better tell them. What's up, Tracy? You made it in. All right, this is the last thing I'm gonna give you, and then we're gonna go get to our affirmations. So, how do you sell as an introvert? Millionaires, this is like your little like thought for the day if you're an introvert. How do you sell as an introvert? To be effective, you want to take advantage of your natural power, right? Be sure that you're doing your research. Be sure that you're prepared. Check out their social media. See what kind of person they are. See what they do. See what their goals kind of are. See what direction they're headed in. This is going to boost your confidence. This is going to allow you to spend less time thinking about what to say. Next, you're going to be able to converse with a little bit of power. Give yourself time to recharge is another thought. So research. Next, I'm saying recharge. Networking events, back-to-back sales calls. These can be kind of physically draining and emotionally exhausting for introverts because we tire so easily from social activities. This makes it kind of difficult for us to interact sometimes. So make space for alone time. Make space where you can just chill and recharge, right? You want to, and sometimes you can use that recharge time to do your research for the next stuff. But make space for that. Try other traditional energizing activities like coffee or taking a walk around the block. And then the last thing I got for you, if you're an introvert, is don't use being an introvert as an excuse to not try. That's what I want to say to you. Yes, I understand that like presenting ain't naturally your thing sometimes because you feel more nervous than maybe an extrovert would. But there are a lot of introverts who kill it in business, y'all. Elon Musk. Steve Jobs had some of the best presentation skills on the planet. Mark Zuckerberg, weirdo, but you cannot deny his power. J.K. Rowling, who wrote the Harry Potter series and went from writing on napkins in a coffee shop to being richer than the Queen of England, right? We're talking about introverts. As a whole, the value that introverts bring to the sales table, to the world of entrepreneurship, is overlooked over and over and over, right? But being introverted does not disqualify you from being an exceptional leader, an exceptional entrepreneur. Matter of fact, what I want you to understand, yeah, Shalonda, tell them. Being an introvert, what I want you to understand is that, in fact, you have superpowers that can push you past everybody else. If you will hone these skills and embrace who you are, love on yourself, let me tell you something. The reason that we always pushing this thing about mindset, skill set, and heart set is because first you have to acknowledge who you are. Then you have to nurture who you are. That's the skill set part, right? Acknowledge, nourish, and then cherish who you are, right? You have to acknowledge, nurture, and cherish. That's the mindset, skill set, heart set. You got to acknowledge, nurture, and cherish. Acknowledge, nurture, and cherish. Acknowledge, nurture, and cherish. Acknowledge who you are. Nurture who you are. And then cherish it, baby. One time for my introverts. And remember, either your mind has to expand to match your goals, or your goals will just shrink to match your mind. It's affirmation time now. Call in right now. Call in right now. Let's get it. Call in right now. If your phone tries to charge you to call in, then just text call me to the same number. Just text call me to the same number. If you're not already on the live line, this is your time to call in and join us. Let's get it. If you're watching the replay, you missed it, man. Start calling in early. Wake up early. I got kids, Haziq. Your kids need to do affirmations because they got to be before they'll do, before they'll have. You hear me? Call in right now. Call in right now. Call in right now. Let's get it. I know you never tried it. If the call me function doesn't work, then let us know. If the call me function doesn't work, then let us know. But just text call me to 667-776-9461. We don't want it charging you to call in. But a lot of these phone lines, they'll trick you, man. They know you calling in for personal development. They're like, not on my watch, right? And then some people thought that was us charging. No, that's your phone system. So we found a way to beat that. Text call me to the same number. All right, we're going to get started. As always, we're starting with the two most important words, the two most powerful words in the whole English language. Of course, I'm talking about I am. Repeat after me, millionaires. Say it like you mean it. I am.